the Auburn Blitz Podcast, your direct source for all Auburn all the time with Brett Pritchard, Faith Richardson, and Randy Lee.
What's up, everybody, and welcome into the Auburn Blitz Podcast here on this Monday morning. We're glad that you've joined us whenever and wherever it is that you tune us in, and we appreciate all of you out there that have subscribed and helped our channel continue to grow. We are over 6,000 subscribers this weekend, and excited to see that number continue to grow. And as always, Faith's here with me, but we've got a great special guest here with us this morning, Daigle Wilson from Orange Beach High School, and officially wrapping up her high school season with another state championship, and now moving on to the Auburn Tigers, another orange and blue team we'll be talking about here in just a minute. So we're looking forward to having Daigle here and talking to her about everything going on in her world right now. And Faith, as always, good to see you this morning. We've got a lot to talk about, but we want to get to some of our partners right out of the gate, and we always start with Signee.
Signee for air that's cool and clean. Call on Signee. They are the carrier experts in the state of Alabama, proud supporter of Auburn Blitz podcast and proud supporters of the Auburn athletics. It is hot. I know a lot of people who actually their AC units have gone out, and I can probably tell you it wasn't a carrier unit. So make sure you call on Signee, and they're going to save you thousands of dollars on the installation of a carrier unit. And also, just you want good people that you can rely on. And those are our good friends over at Signee.
Absolutely. And we're going to dive into some more of our partners here in just a little bit, but we got to get to Daigle Wilson. She is a busy young lady. Daigle, thanks again so much for joining us this morning.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, let me just first say congratulations again for the fifth time, 5 consecutive state championships. Not many people, including Michael Jordan, can say he won 5 straight championships in anything. Let's just start there. What's your thoughts on finishing your high school career basically with a perfect run each and every year? I mean, that's wild.
Yeah, it definitely is crazy. You know, my first year, I don't think we really thought that was going to be how we went out winning it every year, but it's definitely super exciting. And we're super pumped and super thrilled just to go out with a bang for sure.
Is Oxford your home away from home?
I guess you could call it that.
Yeah, I mean, winning 5 state championships seems like it's been very, very good to you guys. Let's talk about the game. I know Faith's got several questions she wants to get to as well. I'll just start. You guys won 9-2, but it was close for a while. I think it was 2-2 in the 4th inning, wasn't it?
Yes,
it was. Talk about that game and kind of how it went.
Yeah, so we are usually used to being ahead really all game. And that game, Ambry Taylor, I played travel ball with her. She hit a leadoff bomb. So from the get-go, that kind of gave them a little bit of momentum. You know, they were gunning for us. They wanted to play us. And so that definitely gave them some momentum. But we know we're very strong offensively. Like, we knew one run wasn't going to beat us. So we just kept our composure. We knew we had a lot of game after her one hit. So we knew we'd come back. We just wanted to stay calm and stay composed and just play our game.
When we met up with y'all earlier this season, you guys were kind of saying how y'all have played together for a really long time. What's your relationship like with your teammates and your coaches?
Yeah, we're all super close, and it's not just on the softball field. We're all super close and love each other on a personal level because we've all played travel ball together. We've played together since middle school. And it's like we love the game, but we love each other as a person, not just as a softball player. And I think that's what makes us so close and makes us such a great team.
Is it going to be weird next year not being coached by Coach Alexander? I mean,
I definitely think so, especially Coach Hodo, too. He's coached me since I was probably 8 years old in travel ball and in school ball. He's always been my coach. So that's definitely going to be a change. That was a long hug after the game, which was very hard, but it was sweet.
Talk about that final out in that game, and your high school career coming to the end like it did, and not to get emotional, I'm sure it was emotional and all, but again, not many people can say they've had a high school career like yours and just finishing it the way you guys did. Just kind of talk about that moment.
Yeah. It was the last inning, and me and Tegan, we've been in the middle infield since we were both in middle school, and we have our handshake that we do before every inning, and we did it, and she looked at me and had tears in her eyes, and she was like, I can't believe like this is the last time that we're doing this. And I was like, I mean, seeing her like with tears in her eyes, it made me really emotional. But there was 2 outs, and when KG got 2 strikes on the batter, and she turned around and looked at me, and I just looked at her and I was like, you got this, and we kind of made that eye contact, like we're about to play our last game together, which was hard to believe, but we just love each other, and we love playing the game, and we're all just super close. So we just have fun and enjoy it.
What about the recruiting process for you to get to Auburn? I'm sure, you've had a bunch of other teams that were reaching out to you, but why Auburn?
Yeah, I really wanted to stay in state, just not being too far from home. My mom went to Auburn. I have a lot of family that's right outside of campus. And so I just really love the idea of playing for the SEC, being in state. I love the coaches there and just the connection. Like, Auburn is such a special place. And I know people can say that, but when you're there, it's truly special. And I just wanted to be a part of that whenever I was there.
When you were being recruited, the coaching staff was different initially, but now you've got the Malveaux there. Kind of, what's your thought on having a duo head coach situation that they're married?
I am thrilled about it. They are so awesome. Chris, he's very low key on the hitting side. He is very into it and hitting. And Kate is polar opposite. She's very outgoing and energetic with the rest of the game. And so I think they're a great duo, and I'm super excited to go and play for them.
They are, again, coming in this year, been their first year, and it was a season of up and downs, but they just finished the regional in Tallahassee. I know it wasn't the way they wanted it to end, but forced that final game. Daigle really, Florida State, tremendous record, number 5 team in the country, and Auburn took it to them in that first game and forced that last game this afternoon and ended up losing 4-0. I mean, you could just tell this team got better as the year went along. And so talk about that from a standpoint of what type of player, kind of tell everybody what type of player you are and what Auburn's getting with you coming this coming up year.
Yeah. I think Auburn showed a lot of fight throughout the year. They've had many comeback wins. And so I think that spoke volumes on their part, knowing that obviously those coaches are speaking life into them and they're not quitting. They're not giving up. So I think that spoke volumes on their end. But I'm the type of player, I'm the same way. I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to give up. And so I really think I'm going to fit in with their coaching and with their coaching style. I love to be aggressive on the bases. I love to put pressure on you. And that's kind of how I play. I'm always going to be aggressive. I'm always going to go all out. And I just love to enjoy it.
Your dad and me like numbers, so he shared your numbers. He and I text quite a bit now, so enjoyed meeting him down there for the area tournament when we came and did our on the road show and got to catch up with several of y'all. But just looking at your numbers, but the thing that's crazy, and I got to ask you about this: do you hold the national record for being hit by pitch?
Yes.
That is like what in the world? Like 49 times. Hit by a pitch. What are you doing, Daigle? Are you standing on the plate?
No, I don't know why. And I actually got hit again after that. I've been hit.
So 50 times.
Yes. I don't know, honestly, because I don't crowd the plate and I don't hover over the plate. So I don't know what the deal is. Maybe it's because I'm tall. I don't know.
That's a painful stat. There's a lot of other stats you'd probably like to lead the country in. And that's right, but that's crazy. And then Faith and I were blown away. Faith, about the stolen bases, right?
Yeah, last we heard you had only been out, I think, once, right? And it was because your foot slipped off the bag or whatever.
Yeah, last time I got thrown out, I think it was my sophomore year.
We watched you literally just run around the bases when we were there watching you, and we were just sitting there in awe. Just, how is she doing this so effortlessly? It was crazy.
Well, the again, good athletes make things look easy, and real quick, Daigle, a couple more things we want to talk to you about before we let you go. Where will you be playing? What position will you be playing? Just kind of tell everybody, all these Auburn fans that'll be watching you this coming up year, what position you play and kind of what your strengths are.
Yeah, whenever I talked to Coach Dean, I really committed as a first baseman. I've talked to the Malveaux more, and they're really corner heavy, and so I know a lot of their outfielders are seniors, so they're going to be leaving. So honestly, it will probably just be whatever's open. I think I could be seen more in the outfield because of my speed, but I did commit for first base.
Okay, good deal.
Was it kind of mean, I guess, to you that you've got all this versatility and these coaches are, I guess, kind of already putting a lot of trust in you as you're coming in to play with them?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've always grown up being versatile. Like, I've played shortstop in high school at a very high level. I've played first base for years at a high level, and I played in the outfield with Rock on a high level. So I'm really experienced in all the different parts. So whatever they throw at me, I'm ready for.
Well, Daigle, before we let you go, what does this summer look like for you before you head up to the Plains?
Yes, I'm on a little break right now for about a week. And we're going really like the end of May, start of June. I'll be gone all summer traveling with Rock. We'll go to like Oklahoma, Colorado, California,
Wow.
all the tournaments and stuff. And then I should be home for probably a week or two before I move in.
No rest for the weary. And
When is moving?
I move in August 14th.
Okay, that's awesome.
That'll be here before you know it. I mean, it
will.
Flies by. But again, I know you're excited, and I know Auburn fans should be very excited to have you coming and joining the softball team. Like you said, the Malveaux are going to do a great job at Auburn. You can already see their fingerprints all over this program in a very short amount of time. But Daigle, again, congratulations, 5-time state champion at Orangeville. I don't know if they're going to know what to do without you and some of your teammates down there when they look up and don't see you guys next year.
They've still got some really good players, so they'll definitely still be making a run for it.
Well, we really appreciate you, Daigle. Thank you so much. We look forward to covering you when you get up here to Auburn, okay?
Thank you. Thank you all so much.
You're
Bye,
welcome.
Daigle. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Daigle. Have a good night.
You too.
That is Daigle Wilson with Orange Beach High School, and now officially an Auburn Tiger. She turns the page, Faith, and man, what a great young lady she is. First of all, I mean, we didn't really get a chance to talk about some other things, but she's really, really heavy in her faith and Christianity, and it means so much to her to set a good example. And that's something that her mom and dad talked to us about off to the side, is that she really puts a priority on going and finding people and taking them to church on Sundays, and helping people and taking time for others. I mean, somebody as busy as she is, to be able to do that just speaks volumes.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we've said kind of earlier is just great kids come from great parents. And I think that really was shown with her parents, just how awesome they are and how sweet they were to us. Like you said, you and her dad text all the time now. But yeah, I mean, she's awesome. Really excited to have her at Auburn.
That's the kind of person you want in your program. I mean, I know the talent is always important, but you want good people. You want good human beings. And I think you and I talked about this a couple of weeks ago about when I was working at Auburn and the football team, and Terry Bowden had pretty much relegated himself to going out and getting everybody's rejects. I mean, they were good good, and not the whole team, but in certain positions where he couldn't get recruits to come, he went and got somebody that was kicked off another team or whatever. And then that ended up permeating the culture and creating the situation which ultimately got him fired. And, so you look for great athletes, but you look for quality humans too, that will come and build up the character of the program. That's one thing I think shifting over to football, it's a good transition. We got to get to talk about some of our partners here in just a second. But, Coach Free's going into his third year, Faith, and there's a lot of pressure and there's a lot of things to prove. But you've been around this team now. This will be going on your second year really closely with them. You were really heavily involved last year, and then now from a different aspect with us at Auburn Blitz. It seems like all the guys that are part of this team are good people. I mean, I know everybody's not perfect all the time, but for the most part, they're fun loving. They're people that you want to be around, and they have the priorities in order, and that's a good thing. Couldn't always say that about some of our previous teams.
Yeah, no, you probably couldn't, but yeah, I mean, these guys that I've been lucky to be around them for, like you said, 2 years now, and I mean, a lot of them are just really quality guys. A lot of them are very soft-spoken and quiet and reserved off to themselves. But when you see them all together, there's no big cancer in the group that you see that infects everybody. And I think that's really important as a team when it comes to gelling and meshing together, especially at, just the season that we've had in the past, and trying to progress away from that and be better and stuff. And again, just the group of all the guys that are there, I think are just very, I think they're very great guys. And I think doing what we've talked about a lot, but doing on the front row has really been something where we can dive deeper into that and see kind of the guys that are being recruited in that aspect of it all. So, I think that shows how important it is to have good people just by the connectivity together.
Right. No doubt about it. You want a good culture first and foremost, and then the rest kind of takes care of itself. Okay, let's talk about some of our partners. Scout Program Management, a full-service construction management firm located in Birmingham, Alabama, that will take you from the planning stages before you even really get everything going. They'll start with the pre-planning and take you all the way to the finished product, and they will hold everybody accountable. And when you're spending the kind of money that a lot of companies and a lot of businesses and a lot of educational entities like school systems spend, you want it done correctly, and that's what Scout Program Management does. They hold people accountable and make sure your product is the way you wanted it to be. And so call on Scout Program Management for your next construction project. They will handle it for you. And Bunkers in downtown Auburn. Bunkers,
they've got 50 parking spaces in the parking garage behind them. You guys know how hard it is to park downtown. That's already a very good sign when it comes to somewhere downtown, but not just for the parking spaces, but for the good food too. They have some of the best food. I always talk about the steak sliders, but the buffalo chicken dip, the pizza, literally everything there. They've got happy hour specials all the time. They're open, not on Mondays and Tuesdays. We found that out the hard way. So, but make sure you go there.
Last week.
Yeah, make sure you go there any other day of the week. They've got 27 different sports on the golf simulator base. So it doesn't even matter what kind of sport you want to play, because I'm almost positive that they have it.
Let's just be honest. When you go out to eat, you of course you want good food, but you look for an experience, right?
Right.
And it truly is an experience when you go to Bunkers. So we appreciate them, and we'll get to some more of our partners here in just a minute. Faith, it's always important to make a good impression on these recruits when they show up. And we talked all week last week about some of the guys that were in this past weekend. And of course, this week we'll be talking about the guys that will be coming in this coming up weekend. So this is a never-ending cycle that we're in. But we won't talk about all of them. We'll save a few throughout the week. We'll kind of mix this up. And Jason Caldwell not on with us today, but will be on with us Wednesday morning. So everybody make a program and note of that. Look forward. That'll be kind of cool because he'll be able to give a perspective on some of the guys we're talking about now, and then he'll be able to preview what's coming up this coming weekend as well. So we'll get him kind of in the middle of the week and kind of get some reactions and then some preview of what's going to go on this coming up weekend. But one, you and I like to focus on in-state guys. Not that we have a prejudice or anything, but we really think the in-state guys are important. And somebody that you actually haven't interviewed yet, believe it or not, is Signee Cleveland, which you will. He's the number 4 prospect in the state, and he was here. And if you've watched us at all the last 2 weeks, you know who Signee Cleveland is. So I don't have to go back through that. But from Parker High School, and his teammate Jordan Crawford already here on the team, and looking forward to him this year. But I think Auburn has, and obviously everybody in the top 10 is a priority, but at his size, 6'3", 300 pounds, faith and the ability to move the way he is and how athletic he was when I saw him last year, Auburn wants to continue to build depth on this defensive line.
Yeah, I mean, you always love hearing that Auburn is back in his top tier of teams. I think, it makes a big difference after these visits, and there's a lot of guys that are coming after already being committed somewhere, but they haven't completely closed. But back on Signee Cleveland. I mean, look at what they've been able to do with Jordan Crawford. I think that's something that you have to think about. And just kind of with Jordan being able to communicate with him throughout a lot of it, I think really does help with Signee's recruitment.
No doubt, in their relationship that they had at Parker. But I think the relationship he's built with, Coach King Williams, DJ Durkin, I think that was, that's just, and again, we're seeing relationships. We're seeing that word pop up a lot with these guys. But, to quote him, he said this weekend's helped a lot. It helped Auburn a lot. And as you mentioned, he said that Auburn's back in his top tier of teams. And I think you could say anybody in the top 10 is a priority for Auburn. But when you look at the lines of scrimmage, Auburn has made it a priority to go after these guys. And so Signee Cleveland had a lot of high praise. There's nothing groundbreaking that anybody said this weekend. Auburn didn't get a commitment from anybody. Nobody expected a commitment. First really
early.
Yeah, first OV weekend for Auburn. But to get those guys in there together was very, very important. The next one I want to talk about in the interview that you've had with him is out there, and that's Tank Jones. And Tank Jones back in Auburn again. He's been a frequent visitor to Auburn, and he is the number 2 player in the state behind Sedarian Morgan. And Tank is like you just mentioned, a quiet, unassuming guy, but has a lot to say when he does talk. That he's one of those guys that
in few words though.
Right. So he was kind of asked, Jason and Christian and the guys at 24/7 asked him how it went, and he said better than expected. So I don't know what that means. He's been to Auburn a bunch, and I don't know if he had, if he was already very impressed with Auburn and then they were able to up that one more notch, or was Auburn down here and he had low expectations and he got here and it was way better than he thought. I don't know, but it's good that he said it's better than he expected because, it left an impression on him.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, man of few words. I think from him, just from the relationship that we have had with each other, I think that's a good thing.
Right.
And which doesn't say much, but I do think it's a good thing. And I do think, him being just his size and the way that he plays, I think he would be a big asset to Auburn. And yeah, I think what he told me is that he really is wanting to go somewhere to become like the best version of himself and also be very close and comfortable with his teammates and coaches. And it does sound like he was able to do that this weekend and talk to some of the guys and really bond with some of the coaches too.
He said that actually. I mean, a good relationship is key for him. You've heard that from Sedarian. You've sat down with him, and you and I'll maybe talk a little bit here in just a minute about the spring game that we went to Friday at Benjamin Russell. Very impressed with some of the guys that we saw there, of course, Sedarian. But going back to Tank, his relationship with Coach Durkin and being able to bond with him, and then his direct recruiter is Coach Bellatoni, and building a relationship with him. And he talked about that. And then the two hosts for him this week were, could you pick two better guys? If you want to pick two freshmen coming in, and Jared Smith and Anquan Fagans, and everybody that has watched Auburn Blitz with us know about Anquan Fagans and Jared Smith and how high both of us are on those two guys, coming from a great program like Thompson High School. Don't know if you could pick two better guys to come in and show Tank Jones around this weekend.
Yeah, no. And again, just the way that we've been able to see them as freshmen be able to just develop over this spring. I would hope that they would have very good things to say to Tank just about how they've developed and become more feeling like they're ready to be used in the fall. You would hope to think that they've said that, and then that would portray to him, okay, I can be used here. I can, I'll be seen here. I'll be an asset to this team. So, I don't think you could have picked two better guys for him this weekend at all.
To wrap up his official visits, he'll go to Miami, Texas A&M, Oregon, and Alabama. Those are the other four that he has official visits set up with, but Auburn got his first one. And, again.
It sounds like they're really doing the most to be able to stand out, like we said earlier this week, because It is the first one. You want something to happen where they can remember, because they are going on, or a lot of them are going on a lot of other different visits for. And you want something to be special. And even like what Daigle said, she said Auburn just felt like home. Auburn was a different place. And that's what you hope that these guys can feel when they go and have some other visits, and they're going to have to compare it back to the Auburn one because they're first.
That's right. You set the bar. You don't want to set the bar low. So Auburn really, and again, it shouldn't matter if it's your first group of guys coming in or the last group of guys. You really want the visits to all go as well as possible, and you want to do the most while you have them on campus. Before we get to the last prospect that we want to talk about this morning, some more of our partners, and Sure Shot in Alexander City is one that you've grown to like a lot, Faith.
Yes, Sure Shot, up to 80, firearms, apparel, hunting. They sell and trade new and used firearms. Literally, Scott is so nice and awesome, and he's able to help you with literally whatever you need. They've got that course that my mom and I were actually talking about today, going to go do. And again, my dad bought a safe from there, and they're holding on to that. So we actually use Sure Shot and would not promote them if we didn't. We all know Brett uses them. So call Scott at 256-329-0080.
Yeah, great people there at Sure Shot.
And Oliver Ross, if you have a party of 20,000 people, convention, whatever it is, call an Oliver Ross. Or if you have a party of 20 people, if it's a small little private party, sorority events, fraternity events, rush events, whatever it is, Oliver Ross, they are certified and licensed bartenders. So they're going to be able to take care of the bartending services while you are going to be able to deal with the entertainment. Make sure you call on them. Mark is good people over there too. So yeah.
Great person, Mark. And appreciate all the things that he does. And man, his service is outstanding. So make sure you call on them. Like Faith said, for anything you've got going on, party wise or entertainment wise, they can take care of that. Okay, Jay Lamar. We all know that running back, and we actually saw one of our running backs this weekend, Jeremiah Cobb. He was at the Benjamin Russell spring game, and again, there to watch Coach Johnson. He played for Coach Johnson at Catholic. He had a lot of former players there walking around, but it was good to see Jeremiah, and we were able to talk to him a little while. But running back by committee this year, Damari Alston, Jeremiah Cobb, Alvin Henderson, Darrell Robinson, really outside of what we've seen out of Damari in limited capacity the last couple of years because of Jarquez. They're just it's a brand new running back room. I know Jeremiah's gotten in limited situations, but Alvin Henderson's a freshman and Darrell Robinson's a transfer. So priority on running backs. There were a couple in this weekend, but we want to talk about Jay Lamar from Colquitt County. He's the bowling ball you talk about. And again, a lot of people have him leaning toward Georgia, but came in and Coach Nix, talked to us a little bit about him being a priority for this recruiting class and maybe a couple of – I know I hate to keep using that word priority. Heck, everybody's a priority if you're bringing them in. But really at certain positions, we do have priority needs, and running back is one of them. But Jay Lamar is a guy that, Auburn right here in Georgia, they do a really good job of being able to go into Georgia and get top guys, and would love to have Jay Lamar added to this class.
Absolutely. I mean, any time we can pull somebody away from Georgia. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. But yeah, I mean, we've seen just kind of, I guess last year, I don't know what kind of example it was for Damari this year because, he had to start getting some reps in last year. And I think there were just some fundamentals that were, I don't want to say lacking, but just they weren't, I don't know. We've been blessed with a lot of really good running backs. So maybe that's also part of it. But I don't know. There was just some things where it cost us some things. And,
Right.
I don't know if this season is going to be the same as it was last year when it comes to the way he played. I hope not. He already said that he recognized a lot of things that he needed to work on and that he was going to get better for this season. But I mean, he's a senior. I guess he's a redshirt, isn't he? So he'll have another year after.
Yes.
Okay. Or wait, is this going to be his last year? No, he's got another one after.
Yeah, he's got one after this, I think.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. But yeah, I mean, I think I don't even know how else to put it other than like.
Well, I think you got to get two guys in this class.
You have to.
So
we just don't know what we're expecting. I feel like at this position, it's
year. Uncertain. Like if here's the crazy thing about this Auburn offense is that the last 2 years you've been about as solid as you want to be at running back now, and it's not a cut on anybody in the running back room, but you just don't have much to go off of because they haven't had very many carries.
No,
and they don't have a lot of in-game experience outside of what Damari Alston has, and Darrell Robinson has in-game experience, but it ain't been at Auburn.
But yeah, that's the thing. It's just when we were running it through, and Darrell was the one that had the most experience out of all the running backs. It was just kind of one of those things where you said, "Well,
right,
is he going to fit in with this Auburn offense? Is it?" There's just some there where I don't know.
Well, if everybody wants to know what Jay Lamar said about Auburn, he said they are at the top of his list, and he doesn't have anybody on top. He said they are just at the top with some other schools, and so really
just
like
everybody likes.
Yeah, I mean,
so real, so vague.
It's and they're not going to give a lot away, but very, very good words for Coach Nix, and really talked about his relationship with him and, the bond that they've established. And again, if you don't think it matters, that is the common theme that we keep hearing over and over. It's not like every one of these guys are saying, hey, coach so-and-so, their relationship with me, what they've done for me, what attention they've shown for me,
Right.
is a big determining factor. And we've heard it out of 2 or 3 guys' mouths one-on-one, Faith. They've told us, look, it is all about who gives them the most attention and who they feel like they've built the biggest bond with. And it's not just in the last 2 weeks. It's over time. They remember who was first to the dance with them. They remember the guy that offered them first before everybody else did. You know, it's kind of like jumping into a business when everything's rolling. You and I've had that discussion before. Everybody wants to get in when everything's already solidified and everything's rocking and rolling. Everybody wants to buy in then. Nobody wants to take the chance and buy in when nobody else is around. And that's what these guys remember. They remember the first guys that believed in them and saw that they could be a potential player for their program. And it does matter.
Absolutely, it does matter. And I think just the more we go and hear those things, I think the more we hear about how Auburn really is communicating very well throughout all of this. And that's just kind of, I think, going to be a lot of the most important parts up until we start winning some games.
Right. He plans to commit on June 25th. So, you know what, just a little over a month away.
Yeah.
So a lot of these guys are going to go on these OVs over the next several weeks. And then as soon as they get done, we know Sedarian's going to be committing on July 2nd. So he goes right up until the end of June. And he's going to have a couple of weeks off to kind of think about what he wants to do. And then he'll make a decision. So, and I know somebody like Tank Jones, they haven't made a decision on when they're going to announce. It's different for different guys, but he also said he wanted it to be done before the season started. And a lot of guys want to kind of have that under their belt before their final season.
Yeah, same with Jaquez. When he was saying that he wants to do it, he might even do it in August, but before his senior season, he wants to go ahead and have that weight lifted off of him. But yeah, I think the importance of winning some games along with the communication of everything is the most important thing beyond just the surface level kind of stuff.
All right, a couple more partners here before we get to the stuff we want to finish the show with. And again, we thank all of our partners. They're all wonderful, and Old Number One Customs, they will take care of you.
They sure will. They're the professionals. Why DIY it in 2 years when you can get it done in 2 weeks with Old Number One Customs? If you have a bathroom, a kitchen, anything, your wife keeps nagging you about how you guys are in the kitchen and it's too freaking small. Well, guess what? Old Number One Customs is going to be able to save you money and also get your wife to stop yelling at you for that. So send her on a trip for just 2 weeks. Come on. Seriously though, like
that's worth it. That's worth it. That's worth it right there just for that.
Just for her to stop yelling at you. There you go.
Call 334-752-6162 to get your wife to stop yelling at you. That's the number that you need to put in your phone for that. And they'll do financing for you, and they'll get in there in and out in 2 weeks, and you'll be glad. Not only will your wife love it, but you'll love it too. Come on. You'll love it. So call them. And also
call JFA Blue Plumbing because they can save you on the Home Atlas water filter duo because it's only $15.99, but you can't put a price on your health. When you're filling up your dog's water bowl or you're taking a shower, washing your face in the sink, any sort of faucet, you want to have purified, filtered water coming out of those faucets. And you can have that with JFA Blue Plumbing. They're going to save you lots of money, but also you can't put a price on health. So it doesn't even matter. Call on them at 844-JFA Blue.
Cannot come up with a better number than that one right there. JFA Blue Plumbing. All right, a couple things to hit on. AU baseball, they salvaged the. I know this was going to be a sore topic for you.
I was hoping you weren't
I
going
was trying to stay away from this as long as I possibly could, so that's why I've saved it to the end. Hey, but we did finish on a high note. We won one game, and let's go back and recap what we said last week. We knew this series was going to be tough. We knew that all Auburn really needed to do is go win one game. Now, you wanted to win the series. Not get swept, and we didn't do it. And we fought and came up with a big win there, secured the number 6 seed in the SEC tournament. Auburn finished 5th in the conference in the regular season. I don't think anybody saw that coming. 17-13. Finished 38-17 overall. As high as number 2 in the country in Baseball America. But, again, not what you wanted to do, but didn't get swept, and now head into the SEC tournament as the number 6 seed. And Auburn will play the winner of Mississippi State and Texas A&M on Wednesday night. But if you want to look at these standings, Faith, if Auburn would have won one more game, they could have finished 18-12 and would have been tied with Georgia there. But it's Texas 22-8, Arkansas 20-10. LSU and Vanderbilt are tied at 19-11. That's why Auburn ended up being the 6th seed in the SEC tournament instead of the 5, because those two teams were tied there at 3rd in the regular season, but somebody's got to be 3rd and 4th. Georgia would end up being the 5 seed, and then Auburn ends up being the 6th seed at 17-13. But another great season for Butch Thompson, and going to be hosting a regional. And depending on the national seeding and maybe what happens in the SEC tournament, Auburn would be in good position to have a super regional as well if they were able to win it.
Yeah, definitely really bummed about the way that series ended. Started. Kind of bummed that we just lost the series. Again, it was more.
You had to hear a bunch of chatter. So
all I heard was just. But, that was personal. It doesn't even matter in the grand scheme of things. I just hope we can go. And I don't know, who would you rather play?
Mississippi State, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, Texas A&M was the preseason number 1 team in the country.
Yeah.
They just haven't had
them still. I know we've talked about that a lot.
Right.
But I still just
I don't know if they feel like their backs are against the wall to try to do something in this tournament. And again, it's not taking anything away from Mississippi State either. They're a scrappy bunch. They've been playing a lot better. So, I don't know. Just give me either one of them. And if you win that game, you set yourself up to play LSU on Thursday night. Now, you swept LSU, but they're the number 1 team in the country now. And, again, maybe that's a mental edge you carry into that game if they see Auburn, or maybe they're so pissed off they're like, I don't care what happens. We're beating them. We're getting them back for sweeping us early in the year. But, I don't really think guys think about things that way. They just think about the next game. And, yeah, you remember if you beat somebody or if you lost to them, but I think it's just about who's up next and what you got to do to get past the next game. I think that's really what it boils down to.
I think so, too. I think you're right.
All right, softball finished 35-24. They lost in the Tallahassee Regional, lost to South Florida first, and then came back and won a couple of games, ended up knocking South Florida out, and then turned around and played Florida State 2 times today, knocked off Florida State, who has not lost very many times at all this year, number 5 team in the country, and beat them 8-3. And so had some momentum going into that last game, but then, Florida State had a 2-0 lead in the 5th, Faith, and we had bases loaded with 2 outs. And you felt like that was going to be the opportunity for Auburn to score, and they couldn't do it. And Florida State tacked on a couple more late and ended up winning the game 4-0. But, hey, look, the way this team finished after the way it started in SEC, now it started 20-1, and you thought, good Lord. And then they started SEC play 0-12. But ever since then, Auburn's been playing really good and been very scrappy, and you can see what Chris and Kate Malveaux have done in their first season. And we were really blessed to have Daigle Wilson with us to start the show this morning. And man, she said it all. She can't wait to get up here and play for them. And man, I'm expecting really big things even next year out of Auburn softball.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, even just talking to Daigle, I mean, these two coaches have turned a lot of heads, I think, with just how well they did at the beginning of the season. And then, you go into SEC play, it's tough. But a winning season for them.
Right.
And also just, you've got to have a year of work and development when it comes to having a new coach. And
well, everybody's trying to learn each other.
right.
Too. I mean, you're learning on the fly.
This isn't even a new coach. This is new coaches with the both of them. So yeah, Daigle seemed very excited and ready to work with them. And I really trust Daigle. I really like her. So I trust that she trusts them. Like,
no doubt. Yeah. There's just a lot of trust going on, which is which is a great thing. So I know you and I both are looking forward to, we kind of feel like we built a relationship with Daigle, and maybe have a situation where she'll be on regularly with us when she gets to Auburn. We'll try to work out something with her in the Auburn Blitz, kind of like Malcolm. Malcolm loves to be on with us. Football, always lean on Malcolm whenever he's available. So we'd love to have Daigle part as well. All right, that's going to wrap us up here on this Monday morning for the Auburn Blitz podcast, man. So much going on. We will be on at noon today as well. Faith and I will to give you the latest of anything that we didn't cover this morning. We do have some things that we're going to talk about at lunch that we did not talk about here this morning that I think would be a very big interest to a lot of people and kind of get their thoughts and take on that. Again, we appreciate everybody. Again, this was recorded. We didn't give this disclaimer earlier, but I'm sure we've got a lot of people that comment, and they do throughout the show. And if you have and we haven't answered, that's why. Again, we're not snobs. We love interacting with you guys, and we appreciate it so much. But make sure you tune us in at noon. And, of course, we'll be back tomorrow morning again right here for the Auburn Blitz podcast at 8 o'clock. And then, of course, Wednesday, we will have Jason Caldwell join us as well. And then Faith and I tomorrow will talk more about where we're going to be on location on Wednesday. So that will be fun.
Yeah.
We got a lot going on this week, as always, right?
Wow, I really was just so confused. Yes.
It's a pretty big event Wednesday. We'll talk about it
Yes.
more tomorrow. But again, thanks to all of you that join us each and every day, and we appreciate it so much. We want everybody to have
The best day ever.
as always, and a big old
War Eagle.